Well, continuing with what's unique about this chair as opposed to some of the other chairs, because as I said, I'm not showing you how to build this chair completely, just what's unique about it. And there's lots of other videos showing how to bore these holes in the seat, how to taper them, how to line up the legs, and all that. You can go find those if you don't know. But this is a box stretcher, so this is not on the illustrations. Most of the videos that I'm shooting on the Birdcage are going by those illustrations that come with the plans, but showing how to do this box stretcher is not. So the box stretcher is more rigid. It has to be done with a little bit more accuracy. So I've measured for the length of the stretcher already, and I've also located the center of the leg in relationship to this leg, which is where we'll be drilling the hole. And I do that with the rubber band, as a lot of you know. I put the rubber band up there, and that gives me a reference point on the side, and I can see where that center is. So I've got all of that marked, and I've even bored these over here. So I'm going to show you how I bore these two. Now, a lot of ways you can do this, and for those of you who are familiar with my videos, you know the way that I've shown how to do it in the other chairs is I measure all those angles, and then I set a T-bevel square to that and drill to the T-bevel square. And then a lot of you probably know of Pete Galbert's single angle method, which is a real cool way to do it. But what I'm going to show you here is Elia Bazzari's no angle method. Now, to be fair, Drew Langsner was doing this method about 30 years ago, but I didn't pay too much attention to it at that time. I should have, but I didn't. But then Elia started doing it and was touting it, and I did it and thought, wow, that's a nice way to do it. So I'm going to show you how to do that with this chair. So you don't even measure any of the angles. You drill with it in place. And you can use a bit brace, and maybe in the future on a chair I'll show you how to do it with the bit brace. You need an extension for it. But I'm going to show you how to do it with a cordless drill here. That's probably what most of you have anyway. So the legs are in place and got lined up with their marks, and I know exactly where I'm going to bore those holes. So now let's get my drill right here. So I got the cordless drill, and it's got this big contraption here. Well, it's pretty simple actually. This is just a drill bit right here, 5/8 drill bit, and this is a depth stop, since I can't really see where my depth is, and I'm pushing these mortises right up to the edge of the wall there on the outer wall, and you don't want to go through it. So this is just the depth stop where I've bored a hole 5/8, sawn a slot with the bandsaw, slid it on, put a hose clamp on it, and now I can adjust how deep I want to go just by loosening up the hose clamp and twisting this one way or the other. It works great. And then just turn the hose clamp back up. The only thing that it does is it doesn't eject the chips real well. They clog up right up into there, but that's minor. You can get rid of that. So that's the drill bit and the depth stop. Now I need an extension for this right here, and this is just 1/2-inch drill rod and a 1/2-inch coupling. You can order these from different supply houses. This one comes from a place called MSC. M as in mother, SC. And so that's all that is. It's a drill rod, and then you cut the drill rod to fit, and it makes a great extension. Runs true. You know, well, a little bit of run out, but goodness gracious, it's 2.5 feet out there. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I turn this leg out just ever so slightly. I mean, about a 30-second down here moves it right up here to the point to where you can drill straight into that leg. So I'll set that leg so it doesn't move. Now, if you're off a little bit, like this way or this way, the drill bit will show it just when it enters the hole, and you can adjust it if you want. Okay? Now you want to get the height right, so on this one, the right height is really just about right on top of that node. That puts the center of that maybe just a hair bit above the node there. Let's see. No, I'd say sitting right on it. I'd say just sitting right on it. So now I can just reach around and hold that. So you can see that it's a lot of drag on that cordless drill. Okay, there's that one. I'm going to come around and drill this one. We'll set the camera back up to where you can see it coming from that side. Okay, so I've turned this rear leg out just a bit. And then I can look and see how that bit is hitting, and it looks like it's hitting really nice and even. Okay, put the drill over there. Now I'll get the stretchers and put them in. Now I've already, like I said, measured for the stretchers and turned them, sized the tenons, and they're in the kiln because I like to super dry those tenons. And so I'll go get them and we'll put those things in. Okay, so I've got my stretchers out here, got the glue. I use hide glue. You use whatever glue you like. They all work. Anyway, now one thing that we don't know here is what would be the splay angle of these in relationship to each other. So, like if I held that up to the camera right there to exaggerate, these legs are like that. Well, I don't know what that angle is, but I don't need to know with this method. So I'm going to assemble it in place. So I'll kind of raise those legs up just the least little bit, right like that. And I'm going to put some glue on it. And then I'm going to kind of put them together like this. Now, it's not going to just slide together perfect at first, but then it should be okay. So we'll see if I can do that. Okay. So let's go ahead and put some glue everywhere. Okay, grain orientation course. If you don't know what the grain orientation is, it's in a lot of videos. Okay, let's see if I can look at that. That looks good. That worked great. Okay, so while you're not looking, I'm going to put this side together, and then we're going to bore these that are just a little bit different. Okay, so got these stretchers in, legs in. Now we need to bore for these. So here's where the accuracy comes in. If you aren't at the center line on this leg, the center line in relationship to this leg, and I mean you can't even be off a little bit. If you're off just a tad bit, 32nd here, then your stretcher's going to be sticking way over here when you put it in that hole. There's a lot of ways to get it accurate, but Alia's way here just seems to be the best to me. It's just real straightforward. So the first thing I have to do, so I've got marks here where I put them on there to get the measurement for the length of that. But I can't use those marks to drill because this leg could have twisted just a little bit when I did this stretcher right here. So what I'm going to do is remark it, and look at that, I forgot that I have to put the rubber band on. Come on. Those tapers are pretty tight. There we go. So I need to use the rubber band to remark. You know, I might as well get me another rubber band and do the back too while I'm at it. Nothing's far away in this little shop. Okay. So I can eyeball the distance between that, and I can get that pretty close. But if I use this 1 1/4" spade bit, because this is like 1 5/16", then I can get it just perfect. Let's start out right on the mark that I put. I can hold it right between those rubber bands, and I can look and I can see it's a little bit much that way. It's sitting on top of the rubber band over here, and there's a space right here. Good use for a spade bit. Now right there I am, I'm just dead on it. Now instead of making a pencil mark, I'll just make the marks with the drill bit. So do these other 4 here, these other 3, and yeah, this one's off a 1/16. This leg must have rotated just a bit. Yeah. Wow, that doesn't look right, but this bit doesn't lie, so that's what it's going to be. Yeah, this one's off just a little bit too, so this is a good thing to do. Okay, got it marked. Now we're also going to need a line to sight the drill bit with. So you can just take a straight edge and just put it up against the legs and strike it right like that. And we're going to be using that, and do one for the back. Already got it. So. Okay. Oh, that's part of it. Set this out of the way. Well, I just leave the rubber bands right there to be fine. They aren't in the way. Make sure these are down good. Now, I can just put the drill right up there and drill this. Now I need to know this and that's what that line comes from. I just sight right over the extension, and you can line that line up just perfect with that extension. But I also need this. Okay? That's where this comes in. So this needs to be a 1/4 inch lower than the center, because the extension is a 1/2 inch, so half of that's a 1/4. So in fact, I didn't even have to saw that. You can see it was just found it over in the wood pile and just happened to be the right size. So that's it. No angle necessary. Now I reset the depth for my bit here, so it doesn't go too deep. But then I also just realized something. I was saying if this is off, it's going to throw the stretcher off. Well, it does when I did it with my old system, but I realized with this system, it just makes the hole off center. You're lining up this for the stretcher to come out this way, so that's not an issue. So I'm, as they say, misspoke a minute ago. Okay, so here we go. I can just hold that right like that, put it right on top of that wood, and pull it. Couldn't be much easier, could it? Well, I guess it could. Guess you could go buy a chair or something. Let's see. About put my hand out there, you got to watch that post clamp. Well, while you're not looking, I'll do these other two, and then we'll put it together. All right, so I've got the back stretcher and the front stretcher, and make sure you know which one goes into which, and you got the grain orientation, you know, which is the growth rings on the tenons running this way. So let's just put this one in first right here. Get off a little bit of that glue. Now this chair will be painted so I can get the glue off with water. Okay. That's sweet. That's it. There's the front stretcher. Okay, now the other side, you can side across it and see. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I wouldn't say it's lining those things up right there. They're well within tolerances, but they're not perfect, but they're well within tolerances. Okay, so now this is going to go right into that. So you see how nice those line up right there. It wasn't always that way. In the early days of building this chair, it gave me a challenge. Hey there, Breland. You got a visitor. Then we'll finish filming because I got glue on this. I could introduce you if you want to. Okay. You ready, Gary?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I took care of the visitor, and now I can glue this up. Okay, so now I'm going to clean this up, and then when we come back I'll put it into the seat. Okay, so for those of you who are have made a lot of chairs but haven't made a box stretcher, you've done what's called H stretchers. You know that the legs will just move all over the place and you can make them fit in those holes, but it won't do it on this right here. This is just too rigid. So if you set it up right like that, you should see that they hit right on the line just inside the leg holes, and so all that's looking good. So I'm just going to put it in dry, and then that'll be the end of the video because you don't need to see me glue it up and wedge it. That's common with all chairs. So let's see, pop that right in there like that, and then little chiropractor here. Real sweet, fills up all the holes there, and then you can side over your rungs, and those line up real nice. And those, not that you can do anything about it, but yeah, it's nice to pat yourself on the back if they line up right. So that's it. In the next video, we're going to go to the post and get the angles off of that and drill the false miter holes, the mortises in the crest rail where we're going to carve the false miter. So, see you then.